Good afternoon, students. Today we had an webinar, it's a knowledge sharing session on the design and manufacturing using computers. Today, our chief guest, Abhishek Xavier, joined us. Currently he is working as an assistant manager, business development at Sundaram Fasteners Limited, Gurgaon, India. Abhishek Xavier is a graduated from SRM University in 2016. Later, he joined as an graduate engineering trainee. So deputed in a new product development for a period of 11 months. Where he handled customers for NPD on regular basis. Later on, he took care of development and documentation for the major product. So he is promoted as an assistant production manager. So he handled in the raw material planning to support the production, and he is promoted as an assistant marketing manager. Currently he is working as an assistant marketing manager in Sundaram Fasteners. Good afternoon, Abhishek.
Good afternoon, Arul.
Good afternoon, Arul.
The stage is yours. Start your presentation. All the best.
Thank you for that
Thank you for
introduction. I would like to again give a short introduction of myself. This is Abhishek Xavier from Sundaram Fasteners Limited. I've been working in this company for almost now 4.5 years. During my tenure, I've had experience. I have experience in new product development, business development, production planning, and currently I'm an assistant manager for business development in Gurgaon right now. So today we are going to have a knowledge sharing session. This is not a lecture. This is going to be a fun knowledge sharing session, probably an interactive session for design and manufacturing using computers. So into the session. So this session will have 4 parts. It's split into 4 parts. We will have computer aided design CAD, and then we'll go into CAM, how it connects, and then we'll have a small activity for it. And then finally, we'll close off with CIM, computer integrated manufacturing, and how it is used, how it is implemented practically in the industry. So computer aided design is when you create a product in a virtual environment. In a virtual environment using softwares. For example, when you see models, when you see cars that are actually new cars that are launched, almost all of them and each and every part that goes into the car has been modeled in a software, which is then tested to make sure it doesn't fail in the field, and then it is then taken for production. So CAD is one of the starting point for any production process. So depending upon the complexity of your part, you can either face the design in using a 2D drafting tool or a 3D drafting tool when you have lots of features that have to be tested at the same time. So the difference, before the advent of computers for design and drafting, we used to work in this manner. We used to be hunched over desks, just drawing complicated paths all day, every day, or rolling on the floor, drawing huge drawings on huge sheets of paper. This would have been a fun workplace provided computers were not there. So moving on to the software part of it, you see softwares can widely be categorized into 2D modeling software or 3D modeling software. You select the software based on your requirement. There are a few softwares which will give you a very powerful drafting capability. There are a few softwares which will give you a very powerful analyzing capability. So depending on your requirement, you will choose the software. But the software that is used all over the world, that was implemented from the beginning of 2D modeling, is AutoCAD. So AutoCAD is the software that you can pick up in any company. Almost all the drawings, 99% of the drawings are done using AutoCAD. Even if they are a 3D model, you have to have a 2D drawing that you have to give to production, to be able to enable them to manufacture the product. There are other softwares such as LibreCAD and DraftSight. These two are free softwares which you can practice on to learn the basics. The fantastic thing about these softwares is that when you know the basics of any one software, you can implement it in the other softwares to so that you can pick them up easily. When it comes to 3D modeling softwares, SolidWorks is the most widely used software, that almost all companies, almost 70% of the company uses SolidWorks. So if you know SolidWorks and AutoCAD, there is a very good chance you might get a job in the design field. And the other counterpart of SolidWorks that is sold by Dassault Systems is CATIA. CATIA is again a 3D modeling platform, which is a very powerful simulating software. You can do testing, you can do simulations in CATIA. So I will talk about simulations and testing in the upcoming slides. But just keep in mind that SolidWorks is CATIA is backward compatible to SolidWorks, since both of them are sold by the same company. There's a third software called Solid Edge. Though it is not a free software, it is one of the easiest software to use. But when it comes to 3D modeling, each company has their own preference depending on their requirement. There is Creo, there is ProE. So there are many softwares out there. But if you know SolidWorks and CATIA, almost all the companies are covered under them. So the issue with drafting and modeling is that you have to communicate your requirement perfectly. So that is the reason why we have drawings fixed in paper, so that there is no miscommunication happens. So let's take, for example, if there is a miscommunication. For example, let's say I want to build a Lamborghini Urus. So this is my goal. I want to build a Lamborghini Urus from scratch and all the drawings. So what I will do, I'll give it to my design department. They will do the design. And when there is a miscommunication, your Lamborghini Urus will end up looking like an ambassador. So there is a very good chance that because of the miscommunication through spoken or physical part, you have design failures which will happen. So that is why a drawing or a CAD system is the basis of any product development. So then the next question that should come to your mind is that what does a technical drawing look like? So let me show. This is what a technical drawing look like. So this is one of our drawings. This is a fastener. This is a screw. So if you see here, there are you have dimensions that needs to be fixed. You have references. You have geometric GD&T. This is what we call GD&T symbols, geometric dimensions and tolerances, which is a separate topic in itself. We can do another entire presentation on GD&T, and it will still not cover it. So these informations that are very necessary that is very important for you to manufacture a product to the given specifics, because each product is assembled in the final assembly. So only with regard to your tolerances, when your tolerances are perfect, you can assemble it perfectly. So if there is a mismatch in tolerance, there will be an issue. That is why drawings like these are circulated outside the company. This is what we call a product drawing. So this is what the final product will look like. This is not an intermediate drawing. This is what the final drawing will look like. So this drawing also has other information like what material that needs to be used, what is the quality of the product. If you guys are interested, you can look it up what 10.9 grade of a fastener is. So 10.9 grade is a specific strength of a fastener. You can look it up for your own information. And this is the finish that we use. Geomet is the finish that we use. Generally, if you see a nut or a bolt, it will have a plating. It will look like silver or it will look like gold. So this is one of those type of coatings that is used. And if you know how to read one of these drawings, I assume that you guys have had a drafting class or drafting session in your curriculum. So whatever drawings that you did that are very basic drawings. This is what this is not even the complex drawing that you can see. I will probably show you more complicated drawings later, but this is one of the simplest drawing you can see. And if you can read this drawing immediately as soon as you see it, that is when you can that is what is needed for a manufacturing person. So this is what we call a process drawing. This is one of those intermediate drawing for the same part. If you see, the part numbers are mentioned here: MA 6740, 6750 to 6790. So this is the same part number: 6740, 6750 to 6790. So if you see the process drawing, the tolerances that and only the dimension that needs to be checked in each and every step is mentioned. So if you see in the rolling stage, only the rolling dimensions are mentioned. That is the major diameter, the pitch diameter, and the minor diameter. Only these things are mentioned, and only these will be checked. Nothing else will be clear. And this symbol is for straightness. So because of the length of the fastener, there is a straightness is also required to be checked. So these things are mandatory for drawing, mandatory for your manufacturing. Otherwise, your Lamborghini Urus will turn into ambassador at the end of the process. So these drawings are what is the basis of any production process. So then we come to simulation. So once you completed your drawing, you need to know how it will perform in the real world without manufacturing the process and testing it out in the real world. This is where simulation softwares come into work. Simulation softwares that include HyperWorks. HyperWorks is again one of the most widely used software. It's the generic software that you can use. If you see Tesla uses HyperWorks to test their crash parameters of the car. Almost Maruti uses HyperWorks to test the crash parameters, how the front hood of a car will deform. Almost you can do various testings. You can do various testings like load testing, which will test the impact load or specific load that is applied. It can test the thermal load, which will test how heat affects the part or how heat will affect your product. This need not be the entire car. This can be a part of a car that is tested for the impact. And in our company, since we are not manufacturing the entire car, we are only manufacturing products that go into automobile, we use two softwares. One is called QForm or QuantarForm. QForm is a software that is used mainly for hot forging. Hot forging, I will explain to you hot forging once the presentation is over. But hot forging is you cannot test hot forging physically without investing a lot of money, because the forging dies will cost huge amounts of money. They go up to each die will cost you around 1.5 lakhs, and there are at least 3 days required for each part. So instead of investing that much money in the part without testing, we test out these parts in the virtual world in a computer to know how they will perform. So once what happened is that one of our fasteners did not, it was a very standard fastener. There was only a minor alteration. So we went with the alteration, and manufacturing was done without testing the part. So this finally ended up in a field failure, as in that we had failure after a few years of work. So what in cases like this, what will happen is that we will have to recall the entire product. We'll have to rework the entire product. We cannot rework it because it was a huge failure. So things like these can be avoided, and this did cost around 2.5 crore worth of fine from the customer. So things like these can be avoided when you test these products beforehand. And Deform is another software that is primarily used for cold forging. Cold forging is the process of making fasteners. Again, I will explain it later. So Deform is one of those softwares which will simulate cold forging dies. So material flow, you can see steel does flow under huge loads. So you can test material flow with Deform and Qform without even manufacturing the dies that are necessary. So next I will show you a couple of videos which will explain this concept of simulations better. Video overlap. Fine. I will show you the videos later. I'll show you the videos later. Just a moment. I'll show you the videos. So this is a video of simulation of cold forming dies for fasteners, as in for nut bolt, and this is how the material will flow. This is using Qform or Quantar form. This is the material that is used, the diameter of the part. All these are important parameters for manufacturing a fastener. So this is how your material will flow, and all of this, those software shows over a long period of time. This happens in seconds. The usual run rate or the production speed of a fastener is 300 pieces per minute. That is one every second. That is the speed at which your fastener is produced. So this happens in seconds. I'll show you a video of. And next is what is called the failure. So this is what you can avoid when you are simulating the part in a virtual environment before producing it. So this is when the material folds over, and it is called a lap. So this is to avoid things like these in the real world when you're actually manufacturing, and which will lead to production loss. You can spend some time analyzing this in a virtual world to make sure the product will not have any issues while manufacturing and while being used in the field. So this is what. So that is how cold forging of a part is tested. Let me show you hot forging as well. each connecting rod is again taken in multiple steps, so you can check every step at a time. So if you see here, this is the simulated part that was taken from the software, and this is the physical part that was taken from the photo was taken after actual production. So if you see, the part is almost similar with similar amount of flashing that happened. So this is how you can accurately prevent production loss while manufacturing. Arul, have they finished metallurgy and all? Arul? Fine. I'll assume that you finished metallurgy and you know something of the basis of metallurgy and grain flow. So this is grain flow is important for hot forging, especially hot forging, because that will that will impact the strength of the material, strength in the specific direction. So if you see the grain is being squeezed here, that means this part or this product can withstand pulling forces in this direction. So this is what the grain flow actually looks like in a physical product. You see, these lines are what that after forging was what happens. So if you see the simulated and the actual product, see the grain flows are similar. It cannot be same, but it is similar. Back. So after you finished your designing, your testing, your simulation, your assemblies in a virtual world, you have to manufacture it in the physical world. Again before introducing computers or automatic processes for the manufacturing, the tolerances that can be achieved or the repeatability of the product was very low. As in, there will be a lot of variation between one product to the next product made in the same machine by the same person. So once computers were introduced, processes like CNC machining, robotic assistance, as in a robot to hold the part or robot to transfer the part to avoid damage, these things started off computer aided manufacturing so that we could achieve one good repeatability, as in without any increase the productivity. So there is only a set limit of the endurance of a person. A person can only work for 8 hours and then they will obviously get tired. A machine is not like that. Once you have fed the part, it will run without any issues as long as maintenance is done. So after implementing computer manufacturing for things like machining or actual production, it was expanded into other manufacturing processes like planning, capacity allocation, data tracking. Data tracking is one of the most important things in any company. Let it be your actual production numbers or the dimension or the quality of the product. In in Sundaram Fasteners, we actually have an automatic machining line for the customer Jaguar and Land Rover. We actually export the part. So we are currently exporting the part to Jaguar and Land Rover. This is done by a completely automatic line. That is, once you feed the part into the initial starting stages, machining 1, machining 2 is done automatically. A gantry robot takes it to induction hardening, and then further machining processes are done. And the most important step there is, after every process, there is an automatic quality control gate. As in, it is again a setup where the product is inserted, and there is a probe that measures all the dimensions. If the dimensions are within specification, the product moves on to the next step. Otherwise, the product is rejected there itself. So that is how your quality also increases with automation. So data tracking and data collection is one of two of the most important things for any company to work. You know what is how your machine is performing over a period of time. What is the drift of the data? On lot of things you can learn from data collection. So when it comes to CNC machines, Doosan is one of the leading manufacturers. We use a lot of their machines. And if you see the traditional lathe that is used, that was being used, is still used in very low numbers, but now it is replaced by the machine that the first machine on the left. It is called machining center. It's just called machining center because that is all it does. It has many tools inside it. It machines your part to a specific to your specific command. These commands are given in the form of G code and M code codifications. I will talk about this in the upcoming slides, the G code, M code. But just remember, these things are necessary for you to know how to control the machine. Again, they make a vertical VMC or vertical machining center, which does the same operations but in a vertical direction. So you cannot drill for you to be able to make certain drill holes in certain angles. You do need a vertical milling machine or vertical machining center or VMC. And this on the far right is called an EDM machine. EDM does not stand for electronic dance music. It is electronic discharge machine. So this is a machine that can cut material to very close dimensions, to very close tolerances using electricity. It does not use any blade or anything to cut. It uses electricity to cut. And this EDM machine, again, electronic discharge machine, is possible only because of CNCs. Without CNC control, EDM machine is not possible because as it needs the precision of those commands to cut the material. And below here is one of my favorite machines that uses CAD and CAM together. It's a 3D printer. So 3D printing, if any of you are interested in 3D printing, you would know that CAD or design is the first step for printing. So once you give the design, you pass it on to a slicing software. That software then generates the G code, M code that is needed. You plug that into your 3D printer and it will print your product. So this is the basis of G code and M code, is the basis of all CNC machines that is running all over the world. So what are the softwares that you need to know or you can learn for processing or for understanding G code and M code? First, Fanuc is not the software, it is the company which sells the software. And Fanuc is like the one-stop shop. So once you go there, Fanuc will take care of everything from making your making your normal small lathe into a CNC lathe, to installing controllers, to providing the software that you need to generate the G code and M code to run the machine. On the other hand, Autodesk Fusion 360 comes on the other side. It will only generate your G code and M code that is needed to run the machine. Autodesk 360 is now very useful for 3D printing. Again, if you are interested in 3D printing, or 3D printing is also known as rapid prototyping. So these rapid prototyping is very new concept that is still being adapted in the industry. So for you to know how to process that, you have Autodesk. In Fusion 360 is the basic, and Linux CNC is the free version that you can learn on. You can use Linux CNC to learn all these G code, M code, how things work, what are the commands you should know, what are tolerances you should set, how to give, how to have a tool library with you. All those you can learn for free with Linux CNC. So now we will have a small activity with we will have a small activity when it comes to production of parts, so that I can take you to computer integrated manufacturing in in an easy way. So I would like to request. Okay. So I would like to request you to unmute your mic so that we can start an interactive session here, because I do need your inputs for this session. No issues. I'll continue. Yeah, sorry guys, had an issue with the Wi-Fi.
Students, you can ask any questions related to the design and manufacturing. Kishore,
Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll continue with the presentation for computer integrated manufacturing.
Uh, Hello, sir. May I ask a question, please?
Yes.
So I'm from the mechanical department, and my interest primarily lies in designing. So, in the order of priority, which one do you think I should focus on first, CAD, CAM, or CIM?
In the order of priority, you should start off with CAD because that is the basis of any production facility. So if you're going to go into designing, CAD is number one, and then even in CAD you can start off with 2D modeling and then move into 3D modeling. Then you can learn about simulation software. When it comes to CAM, if you are well versed in production or if you are interested in production, you can start off with CAM.
Okay, all right. And I'm personally very interested in the engineering drawing classes. I like drawing physically, but from having seen your presentation, what I feel is that drawing does not have a future in the industry. So should I spend less time on that and focus more on the computer-aided stuff?
You should learn the basics. Okay, as far as if you ask my personal opinion, you should learn the basics of drawing in the class so that you can implement it in the computer. Without knowing how to draw and what is a view or which how do I put it? What's a hidden pocket or what is a hidden view, it's not that easy for you to start off with CAD. You might be able to go off into CAM without knowing it, and then it will be difficult for you to read a drawing when you see one. So people are still trading drawings when they are asking for production. So it is important for you to know how to draw before you can go in for the digital version.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? Okay. Ram Kumar is asking in the chat, sir, by learning CATIA and AutoCAD in YouTube, can you apply for jobs or certification needed? Ram Kumar, see, when the people are hiring you, before they test your knowledge, they will look at certificates. So a certification is necessary. You can use YouTube to improve your knowledge, yes, but a certification is necessary when you are attending interviews in person.
Sir, how can I get an official certificate from AutoCAD or CATIA?
There are training centers. There are training centers for CAD, CAM. There are training centers everywhere. You have I don't remember exactly where in Chennai or in Coimbatore, but there are training centers which will give you certificates, or you have to attend training to get the certificate. But yes, you do not need certificate directly from AutoCAD. AutoCAD is again a software, a company that sells the software. You can get certificates from the certificate center or training centers.
Sir, how can I know that the certificate is worth it or not?
Sorry?
How can I get a certificate which can be worth? How can I?
Okay, I got your question. See, all certificates are worth in the industry that you are trying to achieve. Let's say you are trying to become a designer. Like Joshua asked, you are trying to become a designer. So if you're trying to go into design, you need to demonstrate some basic knowledge that you have for design, or you should at least know how to read a drawing. So these certificates are what proves that you have attended a class somewhere to learn this basic stuff. If your college is not organizing, you can very well put your own money and then learn it, because these are few things that is actually necessary when you're attending, when you're working in such an environment of manufacturing? How
Thank
much
you,
you
sir.
have, sorry? Yeah, continue. How many of you have attended internships? Can you just raise your hand? Okay.
Sir, I did not get an opportunity to get an internship, sir, because of COVID.
That's fine. I'm just asking because if you have an internship experience, there would be technical drawings in the machine. So that's why I'm asking. So technical drawings are given to operators. The process drawing which I showed in the second slide, that is given to operators so that they can check the dimensions when they are producing. So that is why I asked. Any other questions from anybody?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Shall I continue?
Abhishek.
Oh, okay. Shall I continue with the presentation then?
Yes.
So once you finish your designing, your drawing, and then you also have computerized the manufacturing part, there are other processes for a business or a company to run, which again can involve computers in the form of computer integrated manufacturing. So you're integrating computers to manufacturing. So what the processes that the various departments in the company, like finance, of course production, manufacturing, quality, sales, and marketing, the design department, these departments have their own work which needs to be integrated. So in a software that integrates everything, these functions that flow into one another to make the production operation into a smooth, the give a production operation a smooth direction. For example, the finances takes care of costing of all the parts. So when you when as from the design or a new product development or from the NPD side, you this one. So from the new product side, you will be creating the part master. So which basically states this product uses this raw material, and it connects various things to the product, the raw material that is needed, the weight of the raw product. So these things are necessary for other calculations. The finance department will fix the costing. So one part, the cost of a part, let's say if one screw cost you 4 rupees, so the final production cost is 4 rupees. So when you backtrack it to RM price, the raw material price, so you have to know if you're going to produce 10,000 numbers, how much quantity of raw material you have to order and how much it will cost. So these things like this is what is done using computer integrated manufacturing. So departments like warehouse, which will actually invoice the part for sale, as in I'm talking from the point of business to business sales, as in company like our Sundaram Fasteners, we sell the part directly to other OEMs like Maruti or Honda or Hero, Hyundai. So these customers, so this is called invoicing. So we generate invoice at the warehouse for part movement. So this is when the part actually leaves the company. So things like these needs tracking, because when you see there is a huge amount of data that gets collected. So all of these needs tracking. And apart from this, there is a one supporting department called human resources. They are they are they are supposed to process your salary, your leave balance. All of these can also be processed using these softwares for computer integrated manufacturing. So the first software that is the most widely used software for computer integrated manufacturing is SAP ERP. ERP stands for Electronics Record Program. So SAP is the company that sells it. You don't need to know how to code all these softwares. You will learn them. If you can learn the implementation beforehand, well and good. If you cannot, it doesn't matter anyway, because each company will have their own specific flavor of these products or of these softwares. So in SAP ERP, you have each department has their own authority for fixing various parameters of the product. For example, finance can do costing. I will show you various screenshots from my SAP that we use. We are using SAP ERP in Sundaram Fasteners. I will show you various screenshots in the upcoming slide. So finance can fix costing, sales can check the stocks, a warehouse can check the godown stock, production can check the work in progress or WAP stock, and finance can check the costing, how much sales have been done, how much collection has to come. So accounts department can close off all this, and of course the HR can process your salary in SAP. So SAP is again the costliest, one of the costliest, the most expensive softwares that's used. That comes obviously with security. The other end of the spectrum is where Tally comes in. You might have heard the word Tally very commonly, especially in MSME companies, medium and small scale industries. So these company they use Tally for these records. So I have a few customers who come under MSME. I've seen them using Tally. Tally is again, I wouldn't call it as being as powerful as SAP, but it is one of the best softwares that you can use for one of the best softwares you can use for a small scale industry where you cannot spend more money. BAN is again halfway between SAP and Tally. It is costlier than Tally, but it is as user friendly as Tally. And Oracle is again up and coming. It is for online ERP program that is mostly used in IT companies where you log in, log out. When you have to log in at a specific time on the computer, Oracle NetSuite and all of the Oracle NetSuite is used for all of these. So moving on to screenshots from a company. So this is the order which we input. So this is for a customer called Munjal Showa. They produce shock absorbers. So we use customer code. See, if you see against the field called sold to party, the number is called a customer code. 600821 is called the customer code, which is easier for you to mention while invoicing or while dispatching or delivering, instead of mentioning the entire company name. So if you see below here, these are the part numbers. These are the part numbers these are the internal part numbers, as in SFL part numbers for the product which we use, and the quantity and the date at which it is supposed to be given. All the other parameters that needs to be done are controlled here. So cost implementation this is done by the finance team. So if you see the part number from here, 7040818. So here if you see, this is the part number. This is per piece price of the part number. So each part will cost you 4 rupees 77 paise, and for 15 lakh numbers, this is the price you get, and this is that is called the basic value. And this is for after IGST, all the or cannot change this data. Only finance has the access. This is how SAP segregates data and has control over data. Again, coming to work in progress. So this is a product called a stud, cylinder head stud. It is a huge product. It is almost 7.5 inches. It is almost 7.5 inches, 7.25 inches long. So that is so this is how you track each and every step and the quantity that is there. So if you see at raw material stage, there is a possibility of making 1500 numbers. And then after heat treatment, there is 138 numbers that is currently there in work in progress, at least as on 23/4. I'm not sure what is the status right now. So at machining, you have 500 numbers there. here. The number will correspond to every step of sorry for network issue, guys.
Abhishek?
Yes. Sorry for network issue, guys. Sorry? Sorry?
Go ahead, Abhishek.
It's okay. So this off to the customer, so this has to be reworked. And then if you see, these storage locations are the physical location at which we are tracking the specific invoice. So if you see, go to this D14 rack, there will be this invoice number, this part number, this much quantity kept there to be sold off to customer. So this is how SAP ERP functions. Again, I'm telling you, there is no need for you to learn how to use SAP ERP right now. It will be taught to you in the company. Then again, this is what generally is being used by all manufacturing companies. So with this, I will close the presentation, and this is where you can get in touch with me for further questions. You guys can take a screenshot if necessary. This is where you can get in touch for further questions. If there is still time, I do have few more videos to show you guys. So with this, we are done with the presentation. If you guys have more questions, you can very well shoot it off. I will answer them.
Students, any questions? Okay, Abhishek. So, thanks for a wonderful webinar. So, on the design and manufacturing for computers. Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you so much. Guys, if you have any questions, you can very well message me on Instagram or drop in a mail. I will be happy to answer them.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.